Hi, this is the blind man, handyman. How you doing?
One face near left edge.
So what I wanted to show you is this is a water pump here. I think this is a new one they bought, or it's an after, or it's, the guy is telling me this is the used one. But it doesn't feel like a used one to me. I can't see. And the other one I touch in the excavator is all bumpy, like it's been corroded. So I think what they did, see this shaft here? I think they pulled this shaft out of it. I'm not really sure, honestly.
One face near bottom edge.
This piece goes on here like this, but you can see the shaft size isn't right. Or they took the shaft out of this one. Well, I'm not even sure this is the right pump. This is what they're telling me, but so what they did, see, they welded it along here. They pressed the piece out, and this is the pump they brought down me, and they said this is the other pump, and well, it doesn't work. So they welded it around, and the other shaft, same thing. It fits on the shaft, but it slides on, and it's a bit loose. So when they welded it, if they had shimmed it maybe tight, or put some JB weld onto it so it fit there nice and tight, and then welded it all the way around, they just tack welded it. I don't like the way the things are. I'm just going to get another pump. If I have to work with the other pump myself, I have enough tools here with the lathe and stuff. I could make it work and make it reliably, but right now I just can't guarantee. The engine already overheated. So when this goes on here, so the pressure is here, so it's pushing. So if that isn't exactly right, as this is pulling, the belt is pulling, it's going to be pushing all on the inside side as that's turning, and the weld is here. So yeah, and it wasn't even welded all the way around. It was just tacked. You can see the little tacks. So they got me a new pump coming, and it's a shame because they just did the head gasket on this excavator, and the guy who did the work put on this. You know, if it's something that you can tap or bump, like that was welded very good, and this thing only just ran a very short time. This is a commercial vehicle. The guy sitting in the excavator, he can't see what's going on when it's running, where the engine's at, and it probably started boiling over. But I kept questioning the gentleman that was helping me. It's like, I don't hear the fan. And I asked him, is the fan working? And he said, no, it's electric. So then when he looked at it some more, he realized, no, the fan is not electric. It was running on a belt. And this here piece had fallen off. And that's why it wasn't cooling. So that's why it overheated. So it wasn't working hard. It was just, I revved it up a little bit, but she wasn't working. So hopefully that head gasket isn't gone. And also, I had that tool for checking for exhaust gases and stuff. It did fail, but then there's two tests you can do. You can check the exhaust gases that are in the radiator, and it sort of passed that test. So after we get the new water pump going and it's circulating, because the engine didn't heat up to boiling the second time I did it, or that didn't heat up enough for it to start leaking again, because I didn't rev it up so hot the next time I did the test and stuff, because I didn't want it to boil. And then I found this problem, which I knew this is a problem right away. So stop it, get this fixed before you can do any more tests. And then sometimes people ask you, it's like, well, can you do tests and check it now with it? Well, you got to have something all together to do proper tests. And they don't want to spend more money into it. I didn't do the job itself.
One face near top left edge.
And I can't guarantee anything, because like this was a surprise to me. If I known this pump was done like this, if this was welded on, I would have known to look for it. But this is what happens when you get something that other people have done and are doing Mickey Mouse jobs, saying, it's all right to do something and fix something if you, do a proper job doing it, like weld all the way around. And, JB Weld, I don't mind JB Weld if it's used properly. Those things can work if used correctly, or shim it all the way around. There's another way that you can do it too.
One face near top left edge.
Is you can peen a shaft. So say if this shaft here just fit and it was tight, you can go along with a punch, and you can punch the shaft, tap, tap, tap all the way around the shaft, and then it becomes snug when you put it on. So then I would put the JB Weld on, and then I would push this on so it's nice and snug because of peening it, and then I would weld it all the way around. And when doing that, I would take a garden hose and I would pump water through here, through the pump itself and try to keep this cool. And then I'd probably keep a cloth around the top here because you can't, I'd probably weld a quarter, stop and let it cool down, weld a quarter, stop, let it cool down. I'd probably get it all the way. I wouldn't weld it all the way at once, because there's a rubber gasket down there. And the other reason I didn't use this other pump is because I don't know. Look at how this was in here. And
One face near top edge.
Pressed out and stuff. So I don't know how the bearings in here are, if they're hurt or not. Because when you push something out and it's a bearing, there's two surfaces you got to worry about. So this is the outer race, and then this, or we'll call this the outer race, and this would be the inner race. So when you're pushing it, and when you're pushing in somewhere, you'd have to, when it's going into a hole, you'd have to make sure you're pushing on the outer race. And if you're pushing it over a shaft like this, you have to be pushing on the inner race. And if you don't do that, and see the seal still in there? So you'd have to take that seal out to do this properly. And I don't see that being done. And I checked the other. So the bearing, what happens, you only got those little roller dimples, little balls rolling around. So then you got, if there's 10 balls, then you got 10 little points. So you could actually dimple the balls or dimple the race. So then when it's rolling around, it's just going to wear out. So that's why you got to push on the outer surfaces and the inner surfaces so that stuff doesn't wear out. And that's why I don't want to put the pump in. I want to get a new one. So if I'm doing it, then I can take the seal out, even get a new one, because if I do it, I'll probably ruin it. Get a new seal, press the bearings, the shaft in the way that I want to, and fix it so I know it's done right, because it's a machine that a guy can't see the motor, and you don't know who's going to be operating it. So you got to either stick a Post-it note on the front saying, keep an eye on the engine for overheating, and stuff like that. And I had no note or anything saying, hey, could be a problem with this water pump, which would have been helpful, and hopefully this motor isn't destroyed. So, and I like this kind of stuff, and I like working on this stuff like this when things are a challenge, because first the hydraulic system and then this, but I do like it to have a heads up. If someone's worked on, I'd like to know everything that's worked on. I was told the head gasket was done, and I didn't know the water pump was done, and I definitely didn't know the water pump was Mickey Mouse like this. So, all right, you have a good day. It's the Blind Man Handyman. I hope you learned something.